Hi guys, this is Matt here again. I'm just going to you guys can hear me right. Yeah. Hi guys, it's Matt here. Just going to be doing some videoing around this area. Just showing you guys. This is part of West Auckland, going down Tepai Place area. I'm just walking up to a local church area around this part of the country. I'll just put it here so people can. It's not going to stop anything. It's cool. Yeah, I just want to say to you all guys, love you in every part of the world. I think in this day and age, nobody should have to suffer any mental health issues in silence. You probably guys have seen this in my other videos, but it's nothing to be ashamed about. I think I don't know what you guys are thinking. What you guys think about privacy laws, whether that be in here or in your own country. I think privacy laws, shouldn't be entitled to, destroy others, either by nicotine substances or anything like that. I think privacy laws are just so wrong, and to a point where you've been forced, when you've been forced by another person in your family to shut up and say absolutely nothing and just to suffer their consequences type thing. And I think that whole attitude. I think that whole attitude needs to be changed in society. Yeah, I just want to say this is just coming down. This used to be called the Waitemata Stadium, but this is the Douglas track and field place, and it runs Te Aratu, around Henderson area, if you want to call it Henderson. This is just our local Douglas Pharmaceuticals place here, and then this is the other place here called Douglas Manufacturing, just around here. I just want to say to every person in this country around the world, please speak up. Now more than ever, nobody in any family should have to suffer mental health or any issue in silence. I think there's a lot of, even especially Christians, they die because of I'm not judging anyone who does this, but I believe a lot of Christians themselves who think in this day and age that I'll tell you, there was a book from Rebecca Brown called He'll Set the Captives Free. Church. Great. Oh, and my email's opened. Sorry guys, I'll say that in. Just want to say to you all, if you guys wanted to, if you guys heard what else I was saying before, that nobody should have to suffer any kind of issues in silence, whether that be worldwide or just in the local area, in your local world. I think this whole attitude of you need to. I think what privacy laws are not doing entitled enough is this whole area of you need to shut up and suffer the consequences of my own actions because of such privacy laws, quote unquote, in this country. And then I'll say this onto my YouTube. I do not know the whole ins and outs about privacy laws. I don't know the whole ins and outs about how these kind of processes work, but I think things have got to get changed in the way how privacy laws do need to work to have the entitlement to actually have a fair say within the doctors, within your families, medications, or whatever the actual situation is. People do have a right to have a fair say. We're just going down here. What's the time? 4 minutes. This is Image Holdings down in Central Park Drive. I just do a quick. I'm just walking past where they've got church. It's got a big building down there. It's just Image Holdings. some people in my vehicles might be going, what's this guy doing? I'm just putting stuff onto my YouTube channel. But anyway, guys, I was just saying before to all you guys in this country, you guys don't have to be ashamed of speaking the truth, speaking up about what's actually going on in the society. You know, God's word that Jesus told us in this time, if the world hates you, it first hated me. You know, when Jesus was preaching, you know, in this time, and especially when the Pharisees were actually trying to put him off by teaching him about the law, you know, back in the Old Testament times, and what they didn't really realize what the Pharisees was doing is that they forgot that Jesus Christ himself wrote those laws. And they're trying to use those laws against him in his time, but that didn't work in the end. You know, Jesus is going to have his way in the end. You know, we all fall short, we all struggle with sin. You know, and you know, we're all going to have to end up giving account for that sin in our life. And I've just received a if you guys want to do this, this just might be for New Zealand only, but there's a free series called Forgive to Live, which is a free 6-part series, you know, about forgiveness and choosing to let go of all the resentment and bitterness and stuff like that, which we all need to do. God's told us to forgive those who hurt you. Forgive those who've harmed you in any shape or form. I'm just coming down. I have to tell you the guy street. You know, just saying to all you guys out there in this world, don't have to be afraid to speak up about Jesus in this time. I'll say to every person, you know, who is a follower in Jesus, we're all going to have to get. I mean, I'm sorry to say this, but it's going to cost. It is going to cost the life of every true believer, every person who follows the Bible, whether they are Christians who go to church every week. When they stand on God's word, there is going to be a persecution that's to come, and it's going to be, even if we're not seeing it, if you're not seeing it in your own country. You see the likes of other people, like you see Christians around the world. You know, places like Africa, and I'm just trying to name one country, and all those, Afghanistan, and you see those kind of countries in around the world where Christians in our society are being attacked because we stand up for the gospel. We stand up for, you know, we stand up for what the God's word tells us about what times we're living in. You know, especially you see the conflict that's going on with Israel and Hamas and Afghanistan take over with that situation. You know, war, it's really sad. It doesn't matter what wars never you know, people say, oh, what side should you choose? I said, well, if it was up to me, I'd say I'd stand up for Israel, because it's a nation that was blessed by God through his word. Even though you see Israel, if you read especially through the Old Testament times, Israel was not faithful to God all the time. They continued to follow the pagan idols and the nations every time, and God had to continue to send servants and prophets and people to sort of straighten them out all the time. But and what did Israel do? After the follower of God or a prophet of God had died, what did Israel continue to do? They continued to go back to the pagan practices. So you see the history of Israel and God's word wasn't really that. They weren't really faithful in there, and it actually all boils down to one little word that we all need to be aware of: is sin. All have sinned of God's glorious standards. We need to know that, have that written in our hearts, in our lives. We can't, God's word tells us what it is, and we can't make it our own. We can't make it in our own fashion, or we add words or take words out of it. God's word tells it what it is. God's word tells it like it is, whether people like it or not. Yeah, I just wanted to say to all you guys out there, just going up, this is part of Edmonton Drive Road. So there's a guy just doing some lawns. I'm just trying to hold it up there if you guys can see it alright. I'm just trying to do some video recording before I go to do some church cleaning today. Yeah, so I just wanted to say to all you guys out there, please, whatever you're going through, please be a voice to your dear brothers and sisters around the world. Please be a voice. If you don't want to put yourself onto TV, what you should do is actually just go onto even just ring up your local radio station and actually say stuff about this whole climate change. I don't believe it's all about a climate change issue. And this is what Satan, I think, is using against our society today. People are against all about a climate change issue. It's not. I think Jesus, I believe, I'm saying this for myself, and I'm sure most Christians around the world know indeed what the time is. The time is that I believe that we're living closer to the second coming of Jesus Christ. And when Jesus reminded us in this word that he doesn't know actually the day, he doesn't actually know the time or the day when he will come. Even though we are seeing the biblical signs, we're seeing prophetic signs that was probably seen in the last 3 years about what is actually happening in this world. We've actually seen from 2020 up to this year, at the beginning of January 2024, that we are actually seeing the signs, biblical prophetic signs around us about what's really happening in God's word and the time that we're living in. And sorry to say this, believers, but we've got to wake up. And talk about myself as well, that we have to be stirred in our faith. And I know that we aren't called to judge any person. We're not judged here to point any fingers to any person, because Jesus tells us, why do you take the log out of why do you take the log out of your brother's eye when you should be taking the speck out of your own, which is so true. And I'm talking about myself as well. I'm as you guys know, our household is under a major spiritual attack at present. So there's a difference between not judging, not point pinking, but actually showing the roots of what people are at. I think it's a major difference between judging and actually spiritual warfare, which it is what it is. Alright guys, I'll do another video